Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie and welcome back to another video for Eve Echoes. Yes, we've got balance patch notes, so as usual I like to go through these, read through the balance patch update, see if there are any good changes, any bad changes, kind of talk about the overall feel on this one. Now of course it is worth prefacing this because apparently people think that I'm just putting out propaganda and hatred for Eve Echoes. I'm going into this as sort of positively and open-mindedly as I can. I want to see, is there anything good in this that could actually move the game in a positive direction? Does this give even the slightest glimmer of hope that Eve Echoes could be headed down a more positive path? Well, we'll find out. If you do enjoy this video, please let me know. Slap that like button and drop a comment down below letting me know your thoughts and opinions for this patch as well. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel financially and help me keep making content, or heck, pay for my brain surgery when this game finally melts me, there are links in the description down below where you can assist with that. Anyway, let's jump right in then to having a look at these patch notes. So we have new content coming. Ooh! Structure, Asteroid Detection Array. Okay, I'm not sure, and structure qualifies as content. It's new things. It's not new content. I see content as gameplay, but yeah, we'll see. Asteroid Detection Array, a quantum radar used for monitoring in-system asteroid anomalies, which can increase the level of asteroid belts detected. It can be anchored to a system with sovereignty, and its effect will be applied to any newly discovered asteroid belts. The effect can be further improved by upgrading corporation tech. Manufacture them based on blueprints purchased from G to market. Well, at least it's manufacture and not get it out of a lucky crate, right? That's okay. Would be nice to see a reason to have this, you know, to find the BPs other than just buy them on the market. And I don't mean lucky crates or swipe on the store or Concord credits. I mean like in exploration sites or in combat sites or something like that. But there we go. It enhances all asteroid detection arrays owned by corporation, improves their effectiveness in detecting asteroid belts. Now, it doesn't actually explain what this does. So far, so NetEase, right? But it seems to be implying that this might spawn additional asteroid belts or make your current belts better quality with more asteroids. I read this as it will allow you to spawn more belts in system, which is a problem because what industry definitely needs right now is more belts and more materials flooding the market, right? It's definitely not some form of scarcity to actually drive the prices down, and I know what people are going to say. Benzie, you've been on about this for ages. I think you're wrong. Yeah, well, you're wrong. I wish I were wrong. Believe me, I have bounced off so many arguments on this one. The simple fact is, right now, no industrialist is capable of making a decent income purely through industry. In fact, most industrialists have to go ratting on the side in order to get the ISK to switch their own bloody ovens on. That means industrialist isn't a gameplay style, it's a side gig, right? If it's something you can only do if there is another playstyle, i.e. PvE ratting involved, it's not an actual gameplay style itself, it's a side gig. And that's a problem. The big old dream, the big promise that Eve Echoes would allow you to be anything you wanted to be in space. It's the whole Eve sandbox thing. Turns out to be a lie when you're an industrialist and you can't pay your own oven fees without also having to go ratting. Anyway, is this a cool thing? No. It's flooding the market with yet more minerals because the only thing NetEase knows how to do is add more. There's no go back and fix, there's no redo the market, there's no redo like minerals and materials and redo blueprints to make things actually freaking sensible anymore. No, it's constant power creep. This means you are looking at a situation where what used to cost X amount to build, because the new thing is bigger and better, costs more to build. And we've reached a point where there just aren't enough minerals and materials anymore, so now we need to have ways to add more belts. Yeah, that's where we're at. If you tell me that's a good thing, sorry, I need a damn convincing argument as to how, oops, we broke the game so far that we need to break it further to make it playable. How is that a good thing? Anyway, moving on. Oh look, more implants. Yay! Who doesn't love new implants? Who doesn't love it when NetEase turns around and says, hey, we could actually add interesting, exciting gameplay, but instead, no, we're going to add something that's just going to cause you to grind more and more and more. But hey, the numbers go up, so it's going to trigger that little reptile part of your brain that gets excited at seeing a bigger number and makes you feel good about your otherwise worthless life because this game is boring. I'm pointing out here, I don't mean your life is worthless, I mean your life in game is worthless, because let's be honest, who's having fun ratting in Echoes? Anyway, suitable for all types of cannons. Are we talking autocannons, projectile cannons here, or are we talking about all types, including, is that including railguns? We'll see. I assume, again, we're talking about like projectiles, autocannon, strike cannons. Suitable for all types of cannons, this implant passively increases the cannon's ammo charge and firing power, increases the firing interval, and deals a higher percentage of damage. Fire coverage increases cannon tracking speed when activated, better for small, fast targets, but reduces the effective of passives. Artillery support level 15 increases accuracy fall-off, good for medium to long-range combat. Ballistic prediction increases tracking speed when firing. Part of the accuracy fall-off range can be calibrated to the optimal range, good for medium and close range combat. Armor melter increases thermal damage and deals more thermal damage to targets with a low thermal shield resistance. Yes, that is how resistances work. Good against ordinary enemies. Blast charge increases explosive damage and penetrates a small amount of explosive resistance, but deals reduced kinetic damage. Good against elite enemies. Full salvo launches a saturation strike on the enemy shortly after activation, deals light damage to targets in range even if it misses, but no effect if it hits the enemy successfully. What? The damage depends on weapon size, range, distance to the target, flight velocity, signature radius, and other parameters. Good for suppressing small and medium high-speed targets. This screams, my new cannon ship can't hit the small things. Netties, make it so that my big ship does everything. And netties, again, rather than just balancing or calibrating things, which, in fairness, would still be awful, because, yeah, that's the point of small ships. Small means hard to hit. Wow, that's a concept I can't believe I have to explain to certain people, but there we are. Instead of just going, well, cool, we're just going to make the Naglfar even better, or when Titans and that come along, when the... God, I can't even remember what it's called now. What is that? Ragnaroks, thank you. When the Ragnarok comes along, rather than just kind of going, oh, well, yeah, no, it's a case of, we could buff the ship, or we could make you pay for the buff. Don't know how we get this, I guess we'll find out in a minute. Aerospace tactic, suitable for drones, fighters, and lightweight ships. So this is one that is going to do your typical drone ships and all your different flavours of carriers, i.e. this is the one everyone's going to own in about 7 days. This implant passively improves the drone's high-speed combat capability, increases their damage and flight velocity, and reduces their inertia modifier, because what we needed right now was faster drones, right? They're already damn near impossible for most ships to handle, so let's make them better. Aerial combat determination, when activated, increases the effective range of drone commands, significantly reduces the flight velocity of drones and fighters, and increases their range. Suitable for damage avoidance or enhancing firepower, and also for sentry drones. Okay, so let's just read that a little bit slower there. Increases the effective range of drone commands, so your drone command range is increased. Significantly reduces flight velocity, so now your drones move slower, but increases their range, so they're harder to hit and applying damage better. Yeah, definitely good for sentry drones. Close combat techniques. Enhances close combat capabilities, increasing drones' turret tracking speed and rocket or missile explosion velocity, and reducing their signature radius, making your drones harder to handle. Mighty Arsenal increases drone damage and defense, but reduces flight velocity. So they are kind of giving you a way to make the drones slow but hard hitting. This is probably why they've buffed drones so much recently, so that these speed changes aren't actually going to change anything. We'll see. I'll be surprised, but it is possible that when someone is running this and they make their drones slow, that a destroyer might actually be able to shoot at them. Wouldn't that be something? Oh look, a use for destroyers. Increases recovery range and flight velocity of drones. That's cool. I actually like that. I'm going to be positive here. I like that. So normally recovery range is what, 2.5 kilometers? So this means you can pick up your drones a little bit easier, and they fly back to your ship faster. That I see as genuinely a cool thing. That's a nice change. That's the kind of thing I wish implants were. Not just, this makes you better. Rather, this allows you to do different and unique things. Yeah. Tactical determination. Oh no, hang on. Sorry. Efficient commanding increases the range of drone and fighter commands, which also applies to lightweight ships at a reduced effect. Again, more command range. When drone is under attack, trigger the designated tactic when its shield drops too low, can be toggled between adaptive determination and desperate determination. Adaptive means all drones route their power to power an engine, reducing shield recharge time and increasing stasis weapon fire resistance and flight velocity, so great for getting your drones back. And desperate determination, all drones route their power to shield and weapon, increasing damage and shield resistance. Cool. So you've got a choice here between fleeing your drones back to you and when they're attacking. It's interesting because I praise this as a cool concept, but what they've actually done with this is essentially just give you another button to press. That's all it is. When you're attacking, you're going to press the attack button. When you want to recall your drones, you press the recall button. That's literally it. That's all the implant is adding, is another button to press when you do one of two things. It's not really an interesting choice, it's just press this when you do this. Which is honestly disappointing. That could have been so much more. That could have been so much more, and it actually got me a little bit excited for a moment there, but as usual, excitement with NetEase is usually followed by a letdown. I should have learnt this by now, I've only been covering this game 4 years. Skill, structure weapon system, new Tech 10 skill I bet you. But skills pertaining to the management and operation of structure weapon systems increases the damage and performance of structure weapons. Purchase and train with ISK. Again, no actual gameplay involved in this, just buy it and train it. It's going to be several months worth of training, it'll be a Tech 10 skill, I will guarantee you now. And rather than buffing the actual damage and performance of structure weapons, which were awful when they were added and have actually been nerfed since then, never buffed, rather than actually fixing the weapon, again, it's something that you're going to have to spend resources on, not actually any meaningful gameplay loop or anything, just buy it and wait while it trains. I don't see this as being an important thing. Almost no one uses structure weapons anyway, and unless these are absolutely ridiculous level skills, like 100% increase to explosion velocity, 300% reduction to explosion radius, 500% increase to damage per second, that kind of thing, you're still better undocking a ship than manning a station, but there we go. Interesting concept. I don't see the point. Supercarrier AI core now available! There you go, folks, all you fuckwits who bought the latest, greatest, biggest and best thing just before NetEase eventually reached the point of going, oh, well, you bought supercarriers, here are Titans. Congratulations, you can now autopilot through the boring parts of the game. Yeah! 4 supercarrier AI cores are now available, including Nyx, Wyvern, Hell and Eon. The powerful performance of a supercarrier means it requires greater maneuverability. Upgrading the AI core requires twice as much material as upgrading a small carrier. Do you see it there, folks? Do you see it? Congratulations, you upgraded all of this shit when you were doing the standard carrier. Now you've got a super carrier. Do it all again at twice the cost. Thank you for your patronage. We love your credit card details. Courtesy NetEase. Then we have a complete breakdown of the HTML thing here, because again, apparently NetEase just are incapable of quickly double-checking anything. Quality control in this game. What's that? Long gone, that's what it is. Corporation tech, personnel expansion, increases the maximum corp members, unlock at corporation level 4 and 5. Cool. Balance updates. Here's the fun part, right? Balance. I'm just going to stop before I get into any of this and point out that balance as a concept in Eve Echoes is freaking stupid. Why? Because the entire business model is hinged upon getting you to buy the latest and greatest thing. When a new ship is released, NetEase want you to buy it. And how do they get you to do that? Well, they make sure it's better than everything else, don't they? No one was going to buy an Apocalypse Navy issue or a Raven Navy issue or whatever if it wasn't flat out better than the battleship they were already flying. It just doesn't work like that in NetEase's eyes. They can't sell you options, they have to sell you something that is irresistible, something that is just flat out better than what you own. Now, if this means, imagine the game launches, right, as it did, and we all hit Tech 10 and we've all got the ships we like. This means the next thing that they add has to be better than everything we currently have. The second thing they have to add has to be better than the first thing. The third thing has to be better than the second thing, and so on and so forth. This is power creep. It means everything has to get more and more powerful. And what will happen in these balance patches is, if you're being charitable, it's them going, oh crap, we went too far, we better rein that in. If you're being a little bit more cynical, or in my words, realistic, it's more a case of them setting the stage for the next exciting thing to launch. Notice that Titans have been pushed back, and we've got a balance patch before they launch. I anticipate that a lot of the changes in this balance patch are purely to sort of rejig things around so that the Titans become even more exciting further down the line. Maybe that's me being cynical. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, right? Barrage repression. Continuous ramming's ammo reload time reduced from 24 seconds to 20 seconds, so Barrage is getting a buff. Sniping technology, continuous prediction gained a new effect, reduces the cooldown by 30 seconds, so that got a buff as well. Automatic defense, micro-scrambling's jammer strength increased from 2 to 3. That's a buff. Support projection, EMP's warhead damage penalty decreased from 50 to 37.5 to 45%. That's a buff. In-flight retardant warhead and in-flight disruption warheads damage penalty decreased to 8 to 20%, decreased as it levels up. That's a buff. Tactical missiles increases the missile's damage bonus from 32.5 to 40%. That's a buff. Pulse crystal, the threshold increased from 30 to 32%. I think that's actually a minor nerf, but it's not a meaningful one. Remote shield, force field's recharge effect increased from 15% to 20%. That's a buff. Remote armor, engineering adjustments effect increased from 30 to 40%. That's a buff. They're buffing the implants. Basically, if you've sat there and thought, should I get an implant? Well, it's not a huge change, it's a bigger change. They're now hoping you'll buy into the system. General units reduced the repair penalty of the 4 efficiency optimization units for shield booster, remote shield booster, armor repairer, and remote armor repair from 20 to 15%. For shield extenders efficiency optimization, its shield bonus increased from 25 to 30%. For armor plates, its armor hit point bonus increased from 25% to 30%. Big buffs. Basically, this is also to help with the fact that everything is dying super freaking quickly because of that power creep. Right? When you up all of the damage, everything dies, so they're upping tank, but they're doing it in a way that makes it look like, oh, we're making the implants more exciting as well. Buy the implants. Buy the implants. Rather than buff the freaking ships or nerf the ship's damage, no, strap it to the implant system. Make it so people have to pay for this shit. It's not even a balance at this point. It's just new ways to get people to buy into crappy systems. Reduce the velocity penalty of the 4 efficiency optimization units for afterburners, micro warp drive, drone navigation computer, and fighter micro warp drive guides from 20% to 15%. For remote capacitor transmitters, distance optimizations, capacitor transmission penalty reduced from 25% to 20%. For fighter fire control arrays, efficiency optimization damage penalty reduced from 20 to 15. General fire control systems precision enhancement, maximum damage and activation time penalty reduced from 40 to 30. General fire, it's all bonuses are getting bigger, penalties are getting lower. It's buffing survivability. Buffing survivability whilst also buffing bits of damage here and there. Basically everything here is getting buffed, but in a way that is tied to the implant system. Please buy our implants. Please, please, please buy our implants. Watch as they just go on sale again. I'm not going to read through all of these. They're all buffs. They're all buffs. I'm looking at the thing here. Just going to read through them all. Mothership Defense Module, buff. Mothership Defense Module, penalty reduced, buff. Maximum damage penalty reduced, buff. Damage control, effective on all resistances. Overheating boost, item description has been changed to effective on all resistances. Yeah, buffs. Buffs all around. Please buy in. Capital ships. To improve the assault capabilities of versatile assault ships, the following adjustments have been made. The ship that they wanted you to buy into, but very few people actually did, because they kind of made them too expensive, a little bit too complex, and didn't really do that well with. Yeah, they're not the big ones. Like, more people have adopted to supercarriers than versatiles, but there we go. Let's have a look at what buffs they've put in place to incentivize you to upgrade to that sweet, sweet versatile assault carrier. Removed network sensor mode and changed the scan resolution bonus to its base effect. Cool. So it just is a flat out buff there to scan resolution. Stasis weapon fire resistance has increased. Warp stability is now +3. Increased shield extenders and armor plates bonus from 5% to 10% and removed the capacitor consumption bonus. Mid-slot +1. Flat out major freaking buffs. Major buffs. They are hardcore leaning into, please buy these ships. Slightly increased the survivability of the carriers. These increases are primarily reflected in the shield and armor of each ship specializes in. Chimera increased its fighter explosion. Oh, so yeah, the survivability of those has all gone up. Hardcore buffs. Please, please, please fly a versatile assault carrier. Chimera increased its fighter explosion velocity bonus from 7.5 to 10%, so they apply even better against smaller targets. EHP +4%. Nidhogger just gets the +4.4%. Archon increased its fighter range bonus from 7.5 to 10, EHP +5.1%. Thanatos fighter defense from 7.5 to 10 and EHP +5. Science EHP +2. Force Auxiliary, low slot +1, Minakawa EHP, Lif, Apostle, and Ninazu all get EHP buffs. Yeah, basically the least popular carriers have all had fairly significant buffs. The Force Auxiliaries, that additional low slot is nice. The additional EHP, very nice. Like, it doesn't sound much, 1.3 to 2.6 to 3.1 to 4.3%, but think about how big those numbers are to begin with. That's a lot of additional EHP, especially on a ship that now has an additional low slot, making it even tankier, right? Yeah. Extra plates or extenders in those low slots. Things that are percentile based on the amount of HP that you have. Oh yeah, big buffs across the board because they want you to be flying those. Industrials. Ooh, could we be getting any changes to the Venture series, perhaps? Let's see. To improve the survivability in certain module combos of freighters and jump freighters, the following adjustments have been made. Reduced shield recharge time to 1800 seconds. Wow. Still doesn't make passive shield tanking a viable thing. Low slots +1. Unable to equip cloaking devices. I actually like that last change. I don't think that a jump freighter or a freighter should ever be able to cloak up. I think that's fine. I think these should be fragile, scary to catch ships. They should be fairly easy to catch if they don't have an escort. And oh no, Benzie, but they're gonna shoot my ship now. Good. Maybe you'll play this MMO game with some other people around you scouting, because I'm sick and tired of my gameplay being taken away from me. Improve the overall defense capabilities of industrial ships. The Charon, Obelisk, Fenrir, Providence, Rhea, Anshar, Nomad, Ark. Oh, so when they say industrial defense capabilities, they mean purely of the capital-sized crap. Okay, we're all cool. Added a new bonus, Logistic Drones Shield Repair, plus 50% per level. Yeah. Orca, low slot +1, added new bonus, Logistic Drones Shield Repair, plus 10%. Okay, so yeah. Basically, it's just buffing all the big stuff. No changes to anything that's actually meaningful. Just more hit points on the big stuff. Because they needed it, right? Why? Why? Tell me why this buff needed to happen. It didn't. It's just happening because, oh please, let's fly some more capitals. Small ships at this point basically don't exist in the game. They are pushing hard on the big stuff. Let's have a look though. Bestower, Sigil, and Sigil 2. These are, technically, smaller ships. What have they done? Oh, they've made the structure hold capacity bigger because anyone was using them anyway. The thing that netties don't realise about these is, one, I set up a fair few structures with these ships. First of all, you don't really fly a Sigil or a Bestower or a Sigil 2, because the second you fly one of those, they know that anyone in system knows that what you're hauling is a structure, right? They're the only reason to ever undock one of these vessels. And two, I've never even come close to filling out that hold. Like, genuinely, what is the point in this buff? Has anyone out there ever filled a Bestower or Sigil's, structure hold? Because I've set up a fair few structures in my time, and I've never once come close to filling out that hold. So unless you're carrying like 12 stations at once, I just, what? Why? Why is this even a thing? If you want more people to fly the Bestower or the Sigil, get rid of that structure hold, or keep it as a structure hold for all I care, and also mix it to a PI hold. Or something. I don't know, just give it a different use. The reason people are using it isn't because the hold's too small, it's because the hold in itself is just conceptually pointless. Large ships. Navy issue, but hang on a second, large ships? Large ships? But didn't they tell us that, oh, there's a load of small ship content coming, and then they turned around and went, oh yeah, it's battleships and cruisers. And the argument there was that they were small ships in comparison to capitals. Hang on, so now they're large ships, netties? Hang on, a battleship is now a large ship to you? I'm sure you were telling us that no, battleships count as small ships nowadays. No, they don't. You even admit that they're frickin' large ships here. You just lied to us when you said, oh, new small ship content coming. Oh yeah, but it did come eventually, Benzie. Yeah, eventually! Doesn't mean it wasn't a lie at the time now, does it? Navy issue battleships shield recharge time reduced to 1200 seconds. Again, doesn't make passive shield tanking a thing. I'd love to see that be a thing in Echoes. It's just never going to be because netties don't have the brain cells to actually make that viable. Vindicator, additional EHP, new bonus, stasis webifier resistance. Yeah, because the Vindicator moves too fast. Webs need to slow it down less, right? What? Okay, Rattlesnake increased its drone damage bonus from 475 to 480%. Wow. Oh my god, netties, you shouldn't have. You just made the Rattlesnake broken. Scorpion increased its damage bonus from 15 to 17.5, increased from 20 to 22%. Okay, cool. I don't think that's going to make anyone really suddenly start flying the Scorpion. It's just a buff for the sake of buffing. Armageddon, drone damage from 40 to 50. Armageddon 2, drone damage 50 to 60. Typhoon, missile rate of fire 5 to 6. Typhoon 2, 5 to 6. Megathron, railgun rate of fire bonus buffed. Megathron Striker increases railgun damage bonus. Megathron Navy issue increases railgun damage bonus. Tempest Striker, cannon damage bonus, 10%. Are there any fucking nerfs in this balance patch? Or is this straight up bullshit power creep at this point? Because I'm getting sick of reading increased. Look at how everything's getting better. They are freaking desperate. They realise that players are getting bored and are quitting, so they're hoping that if they just passively put up your numbers, that your brain cells might stop working long enough for you to stick around. That is the desperation on NetEase's face right now. Good God. Oh look, Praxis and Praxis 2 are getting buffs. Is anyone going to fly them? Are you going to fly a Praxis or a Praxis 2 right now? Do you think, honestly, having your damage bonus go from 50 to 60% and your EHP go up by 2.9%, is that going to make you undock a Praxis? You actually going to undock a Praxis? No. So what was the point in these fricking buffs? Nothing. There is no point to any of these balance patch changes so far. Everything here is just power creep for the sake of power creep. They've given up. They've got no clue what they're doing anymore. They're not even doing the math to figure out an actual balance. This is just a glorified, you get a buff, you get a buff, everybody gets a buff, hoping that that's going to make you feel good and help you stick around. God, it's so fucking transparent, NetEase. Medium ships, yeah, definitely, we understand that small ships now doesn't mean battleships. Well done, NetEase. Have a gold star. Or just go and sit in the corner and feel bad, you dumbass. Armored Guardian ship removed its armor link deceleration offset effect. What? Removed its armor link deceleration offset effect. Oh, this is the fact that it gets the inertia. Okay, cool, so it's a buff. Surprise, surprise. Shield Guardian Battle Cruiser, new bonus. Offset 12.5, 7.5% force field deceleration effect. Okay, I just don't even know what they're saying. They don't even know what they're saying anymore. They've just given up. The translator's been fired, or he's just fallen asleep halfway through at this point. He's using Google Translate. Guardian Battlecruiser High Slot +1, which is great because it does nothing. Like, very few people are even using those Guardian Battlecruisers anymore, and who cares about an additional high slot on a Guardian? Really? It's just power creep. It's buff for the sake of buff. We couldn't think of anything. It's, oh, what do we do? What do we do? Sir, we need something for the Tech 10 Battlecruiser players. What do they get? I don't know. Just give them a high slot. No extra power grid or anything. No extra capacitor to run that high slot. Just have a new high slot. Cool. Thanks. Awesome. Special edition faction cruiser shield recharge time reduced to 900 seconds. That's things like the Chameleon and the Adrastia, etc. Again, still not enough to do anything. It's a buff that is absolutely meaningless. Vigilant increased its damage bonus from 12 to 12.5. EHP +3 added a new bonus, stasis web of fire resistance. Are people just not flying the Vigilant and stuff like that, the Serpentis ships? Because they always seem pretty popular to me. Like, as far as, you know, useless ships go, they seem pretty popular. Yep, we're just buffing them for the sake of buffing them. Adrastia changed its stasis web of fire bonus to be affected by electronic warfare, added a new bonus, so they've moved that from a roll bonus down to a skill-based bonus. Flight velocity +2% per level, inertia modifier -2% per level just to make it a bit more nimble, stasis web of fire resistance +25%. Cool, yeah, it's the Serpentis ship that's flying around with not Serpentis markings, standard Galente Federation markings, because NetEase have, again, they've just lost it. Salios increased stasis web of fire effective range 5% to 7.5%, batter modes, tracking speed bonus from 12 to 20. Cool. Gnosis increased its damage bonus from 25, 50 to 100%. Cool, just big buffs to the Gnosis. Cool, everyone wants to fly a Gnosis now, right? Type 2 offense battle cruiser. This is to say things like the Naga 2, the Oracle 2, that kind of thing. Inertia modifier reduction, increased its warp speed. And Type 3, same again. Inertia modifier down, warp speed up. God, this is the most boring balance patch ever. There's no actual rhyme or reason to this. It's just buffing for the sake of buffing. The most popular battle cruisers out there are getting buffs, whereas the least popular battle cruisers are remaining untouched. Why? Because that's the point. They're just trying to buff what they think you're going to like them having buffed. You're going to look at your ship and go, oh my god, they buffed it. I want to fly it more. Please, I'm going to stay in the game. I'm not going to quit. Navy issue frigates shield recharge time reduced to 600 seconds. Again, it's not enough to change anything. Daredevil, more EHP, and it gets the ridiculous stasis web of fire resistance. Yeah, Daredevil, already the best of the faction frigates. Now just even less affected, you know, even harder to kill, less affected by stasis web of fires. Cool, I guess. Worm increased drone command range bonus from 1 kilometer to 2 kilometer. Wow. I remember when the Worm had 145 kilometer drone command range, by the way. I've got videos of that on this channel. Are you ever going to fly a Worm? No? Drumiel increased its cannon damage bonus from 14% to 15%. Oh, Inferis. Awesome, you're getting more DPS on your super cool Drumiel now. Like, genuinely, it's a buff. It's a buff. They're all still pointless buffs. There's no reason for these, but it's a buff. Like the Crew War. The Crew War is the least used faction frigate by an not insignificant margin. Like, I would suggest that there are probably fewer Crew pilots than there are. God, no one flies a Crew is what I'm trying to say. No one flies a Crew. Where are your Crew buffs? Nowhere to be found, because that's not the point of this balance patch. Buff the stuff people do like and hope they stick around because of it. Drones! Amar combat drones gain 10 agility, Kaldari combat drones 5 agility, Minmatar combat drones 15% agility. Cool. Curator damage plus 10, guard damage plus 15, bouncer damage plus 5. Okay. Cool. Drones now getting even more agile than they were before, plus additional damage on the sentries. Cool. Was anyone really complaining about that beforehand? I don't know. I don't know, it's just buffs. Fighters, same thing. Agility buffs. Ugh, God, this is just so offensive. This entire thing, it's just so... I can't bring myself to go through all this, you know? Lightweight ships I don't care about, it's just buffs. It's just buffs across the board. Turrets, buffs across the board. Small, large, capital. Snub-nosed railguns, capitals, capital barreled, capital everything, buff, 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 buff. You can look at this in your own time. I want to do these videos because I want to talk about what the interesting changes are. There are no interesting changes here. Everything is just buff, 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 and everything's being buffed. So it's not even like I can say, oh, well, this being buffed and that being nerfed has this effect. It has nothing. It's literally nothing. It's just straight up buffs to everything. Ugh, just, what am I supposed to say about this as a content creator? What am I supposed to say? There's nothing interesting to add here. Everything is getting buffed, and if it's not getting buffed, it's not getting nerfed. So everything's getting better. But because everything's getting better, nothing's getting better. Does that make sense? Like, there's nothing standout here. Nothing standout. Let's have a look at what's going on here with the Capital Cosmic Anomaly. With the addition of super carriers to the main fleets of major factions, the passion for carrier research has also declined. Yeah, funny that. This is what I've been saying since the start. It's not an actual sync if everyone buys one and then they're done with it. That's not a sync. A sync needs to be something that's ongoing. You can't pull the plug out for 10 seconds, plug it back in, and then wonder why the bath's not draining anymore. Like, God, how idiotic do you have to be to think that adding this kind of stuff would add us ore syncs and ISK syncs? It doesn't, because people get the thing they want and then they stop doing the thing. So they now primarily maintain capital ship testing grounds to conduct specialist research on a smaller scale but a higher frequency. So more spawn rates of the capital ships, no longer drops advanced capital ship component shipping containers, so there's more of them, but they're they're even more pointless. They're currently the most difficult battlegrounds due to their long combat time, long flight distance, high difficulty in inverted commas. These factors are not conducive to capture layers participation. Oh, so yeah, we're going to just make things easier because we realise people don't like difficult content. Therefore, we've made the following optimizations. Removed the ores in the large route at level 1, increased the compressed ore capacity at level 2, reduced the distance to the route entrance, 120 to 90, and the area level 2 has been adjusted to have the same size as level 1, reduced the number of side routes from 4 to 3, reduced the most difficult last wave of enemies in each space. For the Capital Rift, added 2 to 3 capital ships to the first 2 waves, which have relatively low difficulty respectively. Basically, we took out all the fun and made it even easier and more boring for you. It's just, yeah, let's flood the market with all this crap now that you've worked hard to get it. Waste Seekers. Waste Seeker checkpoint's been changed where it will only be destroyed after all of the loot crates have been looted. Fine. Removed the common modules and rig blueprints. Increased the drop rates of rare blueprints. Okay, cool. That actually genuinely positive change. Removed rig blueprints from relic sites. And added implant blueprints, aerospace tactics, and artillery cover. Yeah, okay. This is where we go from relic sites being good, but gone, pointless again. Increase the drop rates of perfect salvage parts and skill chip blueprints at data sites. Okay, so the skill chips are becoming a little bit more common. People have been complaining about that. That's good, but at the expense of all of the new implant blueprints being removed from relic sites. So yeah, you don't get those anymore. Less reason to run relic and data sites. Mining reduced the number of gas clouds, C50 and C60 in common asteroid belts, changed the natural despawn time of common asteroid belts to 1 day. Waste seeker drones and asteroid cluster of Cobalt Edge have a tiny chance of carrying advanced strip miner. Metal level 5 or 8. Oh, well, there's your ion strip miners that you've all been asking for so long. There's a very small chance of them dropping in the Cobalt Edge stuff. So those people who've been camping all the entrances to Cobalt Edge, congratulations, you're about to be the person to get all the ion strip miners and just further degrade the value of all ores in the game. Congratulations, folks, you finally got it. Encounters. Normal encounter missions. Enemy shipwrecks typically drop low-value modules that held some value in the early days. Nowadays, they're outdated in performance. Capsuleers are more inclined to discard them due to their low recycling value. Therefore, we've planned the following adjustments. In expert and higher difficulty encounters, remove the low-value modules. Upon defeating the pirates, there's a small chance they drop the abandoned properties of pirates, which can be used to redeem LP at a station. This is actually an interesting change. I mean, it's expert and higher only, but, you know, it's something. Get rid of all that crappy Mark 9 loot that literally nobody uses because there's so much C-type loot that it's dirt cheap, and even the new players can, what few new players there are, can afford to actually buy it and use it. I mean, it could be a worse change, but it's still not making the gameplay exciting, is it? It's just kind of shifting the loot a little bit, which is a good thing. Cool. We found a positive change. There's actually a positive change in these patch notes. New event, Lazarus Unit Gift. In order to help capsuleers train skills at will, during the event, when your tech level reaches the requirement, you can claim up to 10 million Lazarus units. Cool. I think this is a good thing in balance patches. Not that I see anyone bothering to reskill after this, because everything's been buffed, right? New arrival, event duration September 20th, 2023 to October 11th. Implant Lucky Draw Supply. Opening up to 30 times will grant you the corresponding type of implant opt supply with aerospace tactics and artillery covered. Integrated Module Draw Supply. Opening up to 30 times will grant you the Integrated Module Opt Supply with 4P Integrated Module U, 3P Integrated Module, and more. Great. So yeah, once again, prepare to open your wallets, guys. They've added a load of new implants and they want you to spend. Everything's gotten buffs, so they want you to go out and see the new exciting big numbers. And what better way to enjoy the new big numbers than with a shiny new implant? Rather than adding it to the gameplay, we couldn't do that because that would just be too much fun. No, you need to swipe your frickin' credit card. Get ready, off you go. Have fun spending in this game, guys. I'm trying. I'm genuinely trying to be positive, but tell me, what in here is actually exciting? What is new? What is revamped? It's just everything gets bigger numbers. Everything gets bigger numbers, and that's the balance patch. Literally, everything got buffed. That's not a balance patch. Like, that's not a balance patch. I don't even know what to say to that, God's sake. I sat there and looked at this at the start and I thought, oh, let's be positive. Let's throw something together and see what we can do. It's just power creep. That's all this is. Power creep, power creep, power creep. And because it's all top tier stuff, again, it's pushing the end game out further away from newer players. Oh, but Benzie, what about all the faction stuff? What faction stuff? A few of the frigates that nobody really flies anymore, and the Serpentis stuff. Wow. Game's fucking doomed, guys. This is what they have now. This is what NetEase has left. To try and get you to hold on, let's make everything better and just hope that no one explains to you that by making everything better, nothing actually gets better. Like, imagine you're driving down the motorway or freeway or whatever, and every car is doing the same speed. Now, all the cars increase by 10 miles an hour. Are you going anywhere faster than anyone else? No, you're all still travelling at the same speed. You're just going faster. Like, yeah, that would normally make you reach your destination faster, but that's where the analogy kind of falls apart, you know? I'm just sick of this. Sick of seeing a game that has so much good potential being squandered utterly like this. This game used to be so good. So good. And now they have literally run out of ideas to the point that a balance patch is now everything gets buffs. They don't even have the care to sit down and look at what actually needs changes. Throw out a big balance patch and hope nobody notices that it's just fucking awful. Anyway, guys, I'm done. I'm done with this balance patch video. I'm gonna go have a strong drink because, Jesus, that's depressing. They care so little, they can't even figure out what needs buffing and nerfing anymore. It's just give everything a buff and hope that that pleases people. Happy sailing, folks. See you in New Eden.